right. We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity and Life GPS. Um, you always want to come early. You always want to stay late. That's where the magic is. And between the podcasts, there's a lot of, interplay. There's a lot of conversations that are interesting. So anyways, Cheryl has said to me that she wants me to be 100% honest 100% of the time. But when I am, then she judges me, and then I feel judged and I feel hurt and I feel trauma from all the other women, my mom, my wife, my 4 daughters, my 6 granddaughters, like all the women in my life. It's like I just being honest and they judge me. It's like, it's very traumatic. Why are you smiling?
I don't know that I've ever judged you when you were honest, but
Okay, so all of you men, watch this podcast, because then you'll go and say, "Ooh, I see how she's judging him." The women are going to be like, "What? That's not a judgment. Seems like a judgment. No, it's not a judgment. Why isn't it a judgment? Because we said it's not a judgment, and we're like God. If we say something's true or say something's not true, either way, it's right. Do you have to have any data? No, we don't have to have data. We're women. Do you not understand this, Mark? So, why are you laughing now?
I it's just funny how you do explain that. Oh, Mark.
That's what my grandmother did and my mom did. Mark.
You exasperate me sometimes.
Right. Well, fortunately, you're a woman, I'm a man, and you don't exasperate me, so that's good. So here's where I'm deeply disappointed, frustrated, upset, angry. I don't know. I've got all these emotions. You understand that I didn't realize my feelings mattered until I was 59, right?
Yes.
What was that little shake of the head other than judgment?
I don't understand how it took you that long to understand that your feelings mattered, but because you say that it did, then I believe you.
I'm a man. Like, I mean, like, your mom teaches you your feelings don't matter, hers matter. Your grandmother teaches you feelings don't matter, you matter. And then your sisters, they teach you your feelings don't matter. Like every woman is teaching you, and then the men are teaching you too. Like, son, don't go ahead and make your mother cry. Don't make her upset. Don't what? Yep, nope, you gotta. I'm 3 years old, for crying out loud. Are my feelings not more important than a growing woman's? Nope, they're not more important. But I'm 3. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like we're talking. See, what I'm doing is trying to build up a lot of comedy before I get into the thing, because now we got 2 women on, so it's going to be a gang up situation. And so, all right, I'm going to build up the courage. Watch it. Men, you'll see it. Women, you're going to be like, what? She wasn't judging. She wasn't whatever. I mean, I'm just being honest, like Cheryl asked me to be. Remember that. Okay. So in Coffee Connection, your role is what?
My role is goal setter.
Okay. And how'd you do on this Coffee Connection this month?
Honestly, I don't think I did so good with it.
Do you know why?
I need to word some things differently, I guess, on getting people's attention and being more aggressive on being the goal setter.
Well, the challenge is, again, you want me to be honest, right?
Yep.
And you're not going to punish me emotionally, right?
Nope.
I mean, when she says nope, guys, she really doesn't understand how she's punishing me. But she's gonna punish me, and all the men are gonna. Why are you laughing?
Because you're already deciding what I'm gonna do and you don't know. My dad used to do that to me and it ticked me off.
Huh? There's a
But
pattern here, isn't there?
go ahead.
But you know, how old were you?
When my dad did that,
Uh-huh.
oh my goodness, probably from 12 to like 16. Even
Right.
after that, there was a couple episodes that had happened.
Right? Man, he paid a price. Like, but think about how when you were 12, how old was he?
I don't know. I would have to do a lot of math right now.
Let's say he's 20 years older. Okay. So he's 32. He's 3 times the age that you are.
Uh-huh.
And he's seen you from birth. He studied
Uh-huh.
you from birth. He's been around you from birth. He has more memories of you than you might have of yourself. He's probably had, a grandmother, a mother. He's had a lot of women in his life, but his 12-year-old daughter, you know what? Man, like, like she had it together. She knew he didn't. He was clueless. That poor guy didn't learn the lesson. It took him 4 years to learn the lesson. And then he made mistakes every once in a while too. Like, what are you doing saying
No,
this?
just don't decide what I'm gonna say before I say it.
No,
Why would you ask me?
I'm not deciding. I'm just through observation of you and other women. I have a pretty
Okay,
good idea of how you're going to respond.
okay,
I'm not saying what I'm saying is controlling you. I'm not saying that because that would not be proper. Unless, of course, you get angry, then it's my fault on how I say it and what I say. And I didn't
um,
say it in quite the
listen,
one way.
listen, you just said that you wouldn't say that because that's not proper. Doesn't matter about proper. Is it honest?
Well, is being truthful more important than being honest? Because you can be honest and it's not the truth. I mean, it is the truth for you, but just because something's the truth for you doesn't mean, anyways, getting back to
Okay,
the trauma that I
okay,
have, the pain. And so the, the challenge is you did really good. You did really good on the previous coffee connection on setting goals, but this time, you know, you struggled, let's say,
okay. Why do you think I struggle? Like, why did I struggle?
because you didn't listen to me. But again, you're a woman, so I don't expect that. I don't expect that you're going to listen to me, but you didn't listen to me.
Okay, what did you tell me to do?
When you have to set a goal, a number goal on to attend, how many people are going to attend? Last last month you set a goal of 30, I think it was, and we had 34 or something. What's the goal on how many people are going to attend this month? See, I know what this conversation. See, I'm an
Okay,
expert in the conversation. I'm an expert in this because you're not the first person I've had this conversation with. And so I have a really good idea of what I'm going to say and what you're going to say to what I'm going to say. And then I have a good idea of what I'm going to say back to you and what you're like. I'm three pieces ahead of the conversation. So what
okay.
was the number goal this time?
There wasn't an actual number. It was
There
between
wasn't
2 and 4. It was between 2 and 4 people.
2 and 4 people.
Yeah.
Is that what I said to do?
No, and in all honesty, I don't remember you telling me to put down a number.
Rosanna, do you remember it?
I
She's
remember
not.
you talking about it in the past. So yeah, you
And
talked
then there's
about it this week.
emails too. There's at least one, probably 2 or 3 emails. Cheryl, you need to come up with a specific number a quantity number. So how did you in the previous
Okay.
one? So why didn't you come up with a number? It's the same answer. It's the same answer that was the last podcast. That's why you didn't come up with a number. And that's what women do.
Because of my ego.
Yep. Yipper. Yipper.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
women don't want to be held accountable. They don't want concrete things like 2 to 4 people. Okay. So everybody gets mushy. Everybody gets mushy and you don't know, you don't have an overall goal. And so like if you would have had your goal, like what goal would you have set for this last month? For this month? Like we had a goal for 30, we had 34. What would have been your goal for this month? See, a man would immediately,
Okay, if people can,
go ahead. Or not?
I guess I should have put down 4 then.
No, you don't want 4. You want a number. You want what? You want 40? You want 50? How many
Oh,
total
you
people?
mean the outcome number?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because we can all succeed together like we did last month, or we can all fail together. We're going to succeed or we're going to fail together, you know? And
Well, okay.
so what would have your goal been if you'd have done that last month?
All right. I think we should have been able then to do 45 people, have 45 people
45
come.
people. And how many people do you think we're gonna show up today? I think Rosanna said 23 or something. I don't know.
I think there's 23. I think there's 25 put
So
down.
let's say 25.
But I
Don't get
mean-
analytic. Don't worry about the details. Just 25. So if we would have set a goal for 45, there's a high statistical probability we'd have had 45. Because we didn't set a goal for 45, we are probably going to end up with 25. That one simple little tiny piece. It's crazy. And the reason people don't set goals is because of ego. They don't want to let themselves down. They don't want to let somebody else down. So what they do is they create a mushy goal. So in action vision coaching, I'll talk to somebody and let's say it's a husband and he says, I want to spend more time with my wife. I want to spend more time with my kids. Is that a good goal?
No.
So why isn't Cheryl as a reflex? Why doesn't Cheryl as a reflex? Why doesn't she say, why isn't it a good goal? It's ego.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't say it out loud. I was thinking, I'm like, why wouldn't that be a good goal? Because it's
Why
spending
do
more
you
time
think
with your kids.
things? Why do you think things you don't say things? Because of ego. It's so ingrained within a woman, it's insane. Now, men,
Okay.
they get attacked regularly on their ego, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Like, rightfully so. Not enough, in my opinion. But women, they have huge egos too, and they are not, it's not addressed. And so why would we think something and not say it? It makes no sense. So why, Rosanna, is that not a good goal?
Because you don't have something to set it against. So you start out with something so you know what how you got better.
Why did Rosanna respond so quickly? Often she doesn't. Why did she respond so quickly to the first question? Same thing as Cheryl, ego. Rosanna responded quickly because of ego, because she wants to look smart. It's ego. It's all ego. It's not necessarily bad, but if we don't understand the core behind of what we do. So you just ask the husband, how much time are you spending now? I don't know. Well, if you don't know how much time you're spending now, how will you know you're spending more? If we can't go ahead and be clear of where we are. More and better are not good goals. They're just not. I want to make more income. How much are you making now? 50,000. So if you make $50,001, you're going to be happy. Well, no. Well, that's more. So, so people
Be
set
specific.
themselves up. They set themselves up for disappointment where they're not clear on what the goal is, so they can't feel good or they can't feel bad. Either of those feelings are really good. Personally, I'm not saying I'm not a little strange. I like to feel bad. So you ask somebody, would you rather set a goal of 50 for coffee connections and hit 45, or would you rather set a goal for 40 and hit 40? So ego, it's preventing the answer. Because women want to give the right answer. When a man goes ahead and ask a question, a woman's thinking, what answer does he want me to say? I don't want to say the wrong answer. It's just kind of how women are programmed. Not all the time, not every time, not every woman, but generally speaking, this is what it is. They don't want, why? Because they wanted to please their dads. And so it's just, and boys want to please their moms. It's just how we're wired. Understanding how we're wired and not taking offense. It's like, okay, this is kind of how we're wired. It's not wrong. It's how do we use our wiring for our benefit? And so in the goal setting here, like I thought this morning, I need to learn how to think. I need to learn how to teach people. Like I woke up this morning, I'm like, how, like there's 5 levels of want, but there's like, I don't know, 5 levels of taking ownership. Like, is the highest level of motivation, like Rosanna's going to be gone and some of the other ladies are going to be gone to something, I don't know, somewhere in April or whatever. And their responsibility is to go ahead and get somebody else to take over their role. Will they do that? There's a high statistical probability they will not. Why? Because women aren't held accountable. Well, there's always a reason, I mean, I had one, is this connected back into goals? It is, because there's a reason. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason. I had one woman say to me, well, yeah, but my period, after the birth of a child, the 2 periods after the birth of a child, like she's using her period after the birth of a child as a reason for something. I'm like, that's weird. No, it's a real thing, Mark. Okay. Then I had another woman who was in menopause and she was like, well, even though I don't have a period, like she's using her period. Both are using their period. One doesn't even have one, but still using that as a reason for having a bad attitude. Really? Or being snipey at people. Like, really? So goals. And so women get away with a lot more than men do. And missing goals or missing things. There's always a reason, always an excuse. There's always something. It's always something. So men are trained, don't confront women. And unfortunately for women, that makes them weak in business. When you're not pushed hard. And so there's no question, I am a lot softer with women. I have less expectation. I accept more reasons, more excuses. I don't challenge women on it. I don't push women. I just like, okay, whatever it is. Talk to Melvin about, or Luke or Kenny. That's why I love working with young men. Because man, beat the living daylights out of them. Why? Because I'm just preparing them for the real world. I'm preparing them for a wife. I'm preparing them for children, because you know what? You don't produce as a man, you go to jail. Like, it's really simple. Like in the marriage seminar Roseanne and I went to, and the woman said, You know, women have a lot of options. Men have two: work or go to prison. Those are the two options. So in goal setting here, like, how do you get somebody to take ownership of their role? Like, as if their life depended upon it. But there's something that even is more significant than that. And what is that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Women haven't thought about this. Well, men haven't either, probably. I've thought a lot about this. So what's more important than my life? My children's lives. What's more important than that? My grandchildren's life. I would give up my life in a heartbeat to save one of my children or my grandchildren. Like, just, it wouldn't even be, just boom, just do it. I knew a man, a husband once, young guy, and he said to his wife, he said, "Hey, you know that I would give up my life for a stranger, right?" And she said, "I do." And and he said, "And you know I'd give up my life for you, right?" "Oh, in a heartbeat." Yeah. She said, "Yeah." And he said, "Would you give up your life for me?" And I got to go ahead and, I was respectful of the woman. She paused, and that's that other thing in the seminar. Like, men are wired. They're just wired to do amazing things, amazingly good or amazingly bad. It's one or the other. So in goal setting here, it's like, see, Cheryl needs to teach everybody how to set goals because they don't know how to set them. They don't know how to set goals. And men, they have ego too. So they're not going to set goals. They're going to set flimsy, weak goals because they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be pushed. They don't want to go ahead and have their feet put to the fire. And so Jason, I mean, he's going through 10X. He won't share. I mean, I've asked him probably 10 times, "Jason, share what you're learning." And he won't. He just won't. Why not? Ego, massive ego. And so which role is Jason? He's the teacher and the student. And he's not a good teacher and he's not a good student. But one thing I will say, he knows how to make people think that he's a good teacher. How's that, Mark? Thanks for asking. This is what I was saying with Cheryl, that sometimes I have conversations with myself because at least I can have an intelligent conversation. So, like, everybody that he's training in for Compass Accounting, what's the standard? The standard response is, "Thanks for being patient." He's training them. They're training him to say lots of good things about, them. And so, patient, is that a good teacher? It might not be. It might not be. He might be hurting all of them and none of them realize it. And he doesn't either. But at least everybody's telling him he's patient. He feels good. That's an amiable analytic. He feels good. He feels smart. He loves that feeling. And so often what we think is something totally different. We think somebody's being nice to us and they're not. We think we're being nice to somebody else and they're not. So this goal setting role is a magical role. It's absolutely, I mean, think about it. It's right. It's the first role after the host. It sets the pace. Like, Cheryl controls everything based on that one number. So we walk away in the future with coffee connections. I'm pretty sure. And there's a reason why Cheryl's in that role. There's a reason why Cheryl's in that role. And the other people are. Because, man, she'll hold people. When I saw what she did to Mel in front of everybody, holy cow, I became afraid of her. I'm like, wow.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Which is good. Like, I think that's good. She taught everybody. She put it out there, like, you don't mess with me. Like you do what you say. You say what you do. You go ahead and don't be flimsy. So hopefully this is helpful to Cheryl and everybody else. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.